right. Well, welcome everybody to the Married to My Purpose podcast. I am excited today that we come back on for season 2, and we have a treat for you all tonight. Listen, we have Miss Tonee Shelton. She is coming on to share with us a multiple published author, by the way, not just one, but she is going to talk about her book tonight. The subject of it is growth, and I won't give you too many details because it is juicy. I've actually done a little research and looked on her social media to see that people are already looking at it and reading it and talking about the chapters and all of this. So I'm excited to give her the floor for a little bit to tell us more about herself. And Tonee, thank you for coming on this evening. I appreciate you accepting the invitation. So I'll pass it over to you and give you the opportunity to share a little bit.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to start out and say I'm super excited to be here and just grateful for you for having this platform and allowing me to be present. I'm excited for us to kind of get into it. So yeah, I'm Tonee. What is it? I guess we could share titles, right? So I'm a social worker by trade. I work full-time for a nonprofit, but I'm also an artist. I value the art of communication. I like to be called a conversationalist, and I'm a poet. And so to date, I have written 6 books. One of them, I contributed to an anthology, which was super cool up in the Dallas area. But the rest of them, they're just me. I'm an indie author. If you do a little dabbling and research on social media, some would say I do some content. I like making funny videos on TikTok and sharing inspirational messages and quotes on Instagram. And I'm really kind of silly. I'm an only child, so
Oh, wow.
that might be where all the attention, why all the time I'm needing this attention, right, is coming from. And yeah, I love creating. I want to continue to use my words to help myself, but also to help and heal other people. And if I can just say something and share something that might encourage someone along their life journey, I'm going to do it. So it's a little bit about me.
I love it. I love it. So you talked about using your words. I recently, over the last year, held a Use Your Words masterclass, and it was so powerful. The interaction with the people in the room, they thought they were coming to write a book and realized, wait, I'm not ready. I got some words that I can't even bear to speak. And it was so powerful to me because that's not what I intended to create this masterclass for. It was more for them to understand, are you ready? And I thought, okay, this is all about writing books. This is what it's going to be. And it morphed into something totally different when people started hearing their own words. So that's a powerful space to be in when you know how to use your words, because many people don't. We have arguments. We have people breaking up relationships because they don't know how to use words.
Right.
And so for you to have that as a platform as well, I think that's amazing. Now let's talk about this book, Growth. Talk to me about the newly published book.
Yes, Growth is my brand new volume of poetry. It's actually a chat book, so it's a bit shorter than a traditional book would be.
So tell me about this chat book. What does that mean? So people in the audience will know.
When you hear someone mention a chat book, it's literally just a shorter collection or volume of poems. And what I think is super unique about the chat book that I have is that it's digital. I was able to take my poetry and then put it into the Canva format and get really creative. And also to save the trees, right? You have to be very, I know that's a little silly joke, but honestly, I was like, I want to really push the lens on being innovative, and I'm trying to find ways to connect to my different audiences with different stages of life that they're in. And so the content is about what that process of growing, of changing. A lot of my themes as of late have been this like evolution. I was being inspired by feeling lost, being transparent. I felt lost lately. And I told y'all earlier, a bit of a conversationalist. I think a lot of my friends and loved ones are in this period of transition. And sometimes we get really embarrassed about sharing that we're lost. And I had to accept too, when you're lost, that means you're growing, because when you're not lost, that means you're comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with comfort. But if we stay in comfort, that means we're stagnant, and that means we're not. Right. And so I wanted to give voice to that uncomfortable feeling of being out in a place you've never been before, but the joy and the beauty and the experience of seeing new things. One of the poems that resonates the most with me, and several people have reached out to me, about it's talking about what will the I say. It's like,
Mm.
what will the I say when I decide to go my own way? When we start to embrace who we are and walk in our true purpose and identity, and the insecurity sometimes because we can perform and not be our most authentic self. But even the mountain is one of my favorites, and I know we probably shouldn't have favorites as authors, but it's talking about. I compare it to the climb, and how it gets very difficult when you're in the middle of the climb, and you're looking at all the things that are in front of you and how hard it's going to be, but then realizing that as you climb higher, you see trees that you would have never even known existed if you didn't take that
Wow.
first step. Yeah, so it's just all about the process of growing and being lost and just embracing that, in order to get new things, you have to wander and do things you've never done before and be confused. And that's how we learn and that's how we evolve. So,
Okay, so I'm on this lost train. Like I
okay.
just I can that sounds so bad or good.
No,
I don't know
that's
which one it is. But I came into this saying, okay, we're going to talk about growth, and you are talking about it, but you took me to another place in my headspace when you said I was lost. And it was kind of a cliffhanger. Now, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing with us why you felt lost. Was there a significant emotional event that happened in your life that caused you to feel lost, or was there some big change that happened in your life? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I would love to talk to you about that. And so I have moved probably 3 or 4 times throughout the course of this year. A couple of the moves have just been a different living space. But this last move, I relocated to a new city. And
Mm.
and I've been here for about 3 months, so right at 90 days. And I always knew that I needed to move. I knew that because I was getting really comfortable where I was. And I don't know if
Mm.
that resonates with you.
Yes.
I never had this desire to be, and this might be crass, but I never wanted to be a big like fish in a little pond. I never wanted to be the person that just for lack of better words, like Debo on Friday, just bullied everybody in, the hometown.
Especially with Debo. Debo ain't bothering nobody on Wednesday night. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead. But I understand what you're saying. Big fish, little pond
I,
does
yeah,
nothing for me. You get bored. Like, okay.
yeah, I just and I know that sounds terrible because I think that is some people's path. Like I think for some of us, we are supposed to be in our smaller environments and showcase to other people what's possible.
That's where some people thrive. Everybody doesn't thrive in the big pond. And that's a whole, maybe you should write a poem about that.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, funny enough, I do have a book that's going to come out about a scary frog that takes a leap.
Mm.
So, but I transitioned to a new city and I'm still lost, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I still question myself. Was this the right idea? We just got off the beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, and speaking of the groceries, it costs a lot to live here.
Oh, wait. So you were in Dallas? Where are you,
I am
Dallas?
in the Dallas area. Go and just put my location out, sis. Yes, I'm in the Dallas area, and I love it. I love the art scene. I love the things. There's never a dull moment, even though I spend a lot of my time. I work from home full time,
Okay.
but I will share with you that I'm still, lost. I'm still concerned. Just in recent events in the world. I worry all the time, like, was this the right move? Should I have moved so far from my parents? Financially, like, is this wise?
Yeah.
And I go back and forth between you say you want more. So you got to go up the mountain, Tonee. You can't tell other people to go up the mountain and you won't start on your first hill.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the big life change. You
Wow.
debuted it on your show because I didn't make a Facebook post. I don't like people in my business like that. So look,
I
you
got the
got
down and dirty.
news
Yay.
alert.
Raw and uncut. I love it. I I myself have gone through some changes over the last year or 18
Okay.
months. I was married 23 years and now divorced, and
Okay.
didn't expect a divorce, didn't want a divorce, have two children. And so one is in college, the other one is still in high school as a junior.
Okay.
And so for me, when you talk about lost, I completely understand it. Even today, I am retired from the military. So I'm already retired. I retired at 40, the first time. And so
Okay.
I'm still working for the federal government as a civilian. So even though I have steady income, I'm not wanting for any financial resources or support from anyone post-divorce. Without any assistance from my ex-husband, that was not the way that God told me to go. And so with my own building of myself, retiring from the military, and as a disabled veteran, all of those things play a part in me taking care of myself. Now, do I desire to be married again? Absolutely. But in this moment, I want to be in this lost thing is really, really like I have so many things in my head I want to doodle with lost right now. You have me as a student right now, literally. So I'm going to try to stay focused because my head is going like this, like lost. I'm lost in a way where I am seeking myself again. And so I'm
Mm.
in this space where who am I outside of being a wife? Who am I outside of being a mom? Because one is already in college, the other one will leave next year. And
Mm.
so, knowing now, for example, I'm putting my stuff out there, which is not new. I've been talking through it and it's very therapeutic. You probably know that by writing. But we're co-parenting. We have joint custody. So my daughter's with him sometimes, she's with me sometimes. Sometimes she's with him longer. So for me, that's new because she's not here every day, and we're not talking about school, and we're not talking about hair, and we're not talking about it in person, but I talk to her every day. So for me, figuring out what that looks like, because in my head it was divorce is not an option. You will never get a divorce. You will stay married until somebody dies, and then you don't. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now, initially, it wasn't that. It was, I'm supposed to be here. This is my identity. There's no way I'm going to get out of it. And I have to endure whatever it is that's happening on the inside until God said, no, that's not what I desire. I don't desire for either of you to suffer. And so as a result of that, the marriage dissolved. But when you talk about loss and growth together, that's a powerful dynamic that you're talking about, and how you explained that today, Tonee. So I do appreciate you sharing that. You even saying you're still lost. I think people may be afraid of saying that. I may actually put that and incorporate that into one of my posts this week, because I put a prayer out every morning. And I may just put one out there about it's okay to be lost sometimes. You can find your way back. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this book. What are the reviews? Or you said people have reached out to you. Talk to me about those experiences.
Yeah, it really fills my cup. Being super transparent, and I've been on this. I had a call with an undergraduate student that was doing a final presentation, and I said, you really have to be careful about your metric for success. I identify that, I put a lot of time and energy into this project, and also I wanted it to do well. So not only did I want it to reach a ton of people and to help a ton of people, but I wanted it to do well. I really wanted people to see it as an asset, and
Mhm.
really invest in purchasing it, to be transparent. And you know how God is. He is going to make sure that he lets you know his metric for success will
Mhm.
always be more important and will supersede yours. And
Yes.
so as I'm looking, at my Squarespace, emails slowly but surely come in. Somebody purchase, and I'm like, oh man, like it's not moving like I really thought. I thought people would be excited about it. Man, well, you start questioning, and then you get a text message from someone and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in tears. Two of my friends bought it back to back. I mean, it released at noon on Sunday, and right away they were the first two. And I get a text message from one that's like, you got me in tears. This particular poem resonated with me, and here's why. And I'm like, okay, okay,
Wow.
thank you for recentering me on what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm.
I think people, and maybe this is not people, I think I struggle often with quantity, and
Mm,
God continuously centers me on quality. If you will focus on doing what you're supposed to be doing for him, and making sure you're doing it with excellence, you will get the results. You will yield the benefits that you're supposed to. And so, getting text messages from people that are saying, "Hey, you had me in tears. This particular poem, like this resonated with me." Like I told you, several people text me and said, "Oh my goodness, like, did you write this for me?" And it's the poem that's talking
mm,
about, between the blink, what people will think of me. This theme of like, sometimes we hold ourselves captive to an idea or an ideology, or a metric that we haven't met yet. And I love that, God has brought us together, and you're sharing with me, "Hey, I'm having to find my identity outside of being a wife and a mother, and I'm having to start over." By the way, thank you for your service.
mm. Proud to serve.
Thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Um, so many of us, my second volume of poetry, that's arguably my most popular, Identity Crisis,
Mm,
talks a little bit about what it's like, but it's more so like what it's like being the first, being the only, being a woman, having a baby for the first time, your body changing. But it's still this process of holding ourselves captive based upon what other people think. You bring
mhm,
up an identity shift. Who are you when you're not a wife, and you're no longer a mother, and knowing that you will find love and get married again? Me, is God brought us together because I'm having the opposite. I am 32 years old. I'm unmarried with kids, and in the back of my mind for so long, I thought, "Oh, certainly it'll happen this year. Well, maybe
mm,
this year. Maybe this year." And I cracked the joke, I was in college, and it's like, "Oh, you're going to take anyone to Thanksgiving? Oh, maybe you'll get somebody by Christmas."
mm.
I had posted
Wow.
on my social media in October. I said, "It's not too late for me and somebody's son to have on pajamas and J's for Christmas." Apparently, it was too late. But truly, we hold ourselves captive by what God has designed for us, because we like haven't met this metric, or what other people think of us, and the shift of identity. And so you're having to navigate an identity outside of these people. I have always had an identity outside of these people. And
Mm,
so I often think, like, Lord, like, will I be a wife? Will I be a mother? It's almost like this sense of feeling incomplete.
mm.
And in my weakest moment, I know for a fact that God has me right where He needs me to be, whether I desire and want to be somewhere else. And so I want to give you encouragement on your journey. I
Mm.
don't know what this is for, and I'm sure you're still literally like, "I don't know what this is about either." But like some people say, there's no testimony without a test, and
Mhm.
um, you're just going to come away from this so much better and so much stronger. But even in the process of growth and evolving, there's a really short micro poem that talks about, like, they didn't tell you that you'd have to die to self, that you'd have to shed
Mm.
of who you
Powerful.
once were to become the new creature. And you're shedding a carcass now, sis. And that
Mm.
process, most of us think on social media, is linear. "Oh, she gonna lose the weight. Oh, we're gonna snap back. The money is gonna be right. And you're not gonna maybe slip back and talk back to your spouse, or you may not miss your spouse no more." Like, it's not linear like that. Like,
That's
all it's
right.
going to be, you're gonna
So many
oscillate.
complexities to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. But in the midst of that, God is shedding you, and you're gonna be a whole new person. You're gonna be a
Absolutely.
whole new
A
girl.
whole new girl. Listen, and that's funny that you said that, because once the divorce, I was in the process of the divorce, and I'd made the decision to file. Um, I said to God, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, this was my purpose. Like, and He clearly said to me, no, it's not. You made your marriage a purpose, and you also made your marriage a God. Your marriage
Mm,
was never your God. And as a result of that, you replaced me with somebody else and some other entity. And so I was like, wow. The next thing He said was, you need to be married to yourself first, and you need to be married to your purpose. So
mm.
at that point is when the shift happened in my head and in my spirit, like, well, clearly it can't be what I was, because that space has changed. So Yes, I'm successful. Yes, I've written books. Yes, I have a doctorate degree. Yes, I was bestowed an honorary doctorate. Just I've sang on national television. I was in the Miss America circuit. I mean, I can go on and on of things that I've accomplished,
Yes,
but
yes,
I've
yes.
worked at the Pentagon, the highest levels of the government. So when you talk
Oh,
about accomplishments, in my head, I was at a relax, relate, retreat thing about a couple of years ago, and we had to do our vision board and find pictures. You know how you do the pictures in the magazines. And I found this beautiful African lady. She had all gold on, and she had this huge crown that was kind of like a sun ray. And I was like, I like that. And so the lady walks around to my table and she says, "Why did you pick her?" I said, "Because I can see me in her. I can see boldness, but she's not saying anything." And she said, "That's why I really confirmed to you that you need to catch up with yourself." And
mm,
that was so powerful for me because when I heard it, I didn't have to tell her to explain that to me. I had to catch up with my accomplishments. I had to catch up with my achievements. I had to catch up with the things they were running ahead of me. And I'm
mm,
behind the accomplishment saying, "Oh, y'all doing that? Okay." And everybody's like, "Well, where are you? We
mm.
see this, but where are you?" And so when you add the complexities of life, be lifing, all of that stuff plays a part. And so I'm happy that I'm in a place where, and even though I feel like sometimes I may be lonely in the house as a co-parent when my daughter's not here, um, I believe that was God ordained because they're silent. The pet, for the record, we got a pit bull baby too. She got joint custody too. So when the baby gone, she gone this way.
Wow. Not with the dog too. They took the baby and the dog.
The baby
Lord.
and the dog. So for me, it is quiet. The only thing I hear in this house is the central heating or air system that runs in the background, white noise. And so at first I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. This is crazy. I can't do this. And then I did. The marriage was officially over March of this year, but I've been separated. We've been separated since February of 2023. So almost 18, almost 2 years now, we've been living separately. We're learning to co-parent. We're learning to show up to things, whether we have significant others or not, which I don't. He has moved on, but we have significant others that may come into play, and it's going to. I mean, life moves on. So for me, understanding how to be unlost, if you will, in the space that you're in. It looks different for everyone, but I'm excited about the journey. I'm excited that God has given me this platform. I've written a book, Married to My Purpose. That's the last one. It was a bestseller.
Wonderful.
This podcast, Married to My Purpose podcast, and I did my first conference, Married to My Purpose, in El Paso, Texas. And Dr. Rose, she came down. So I'm excited. There are other things in the works for Married to My Purpose. I'm going to do a book release here with Mahogany Books, one of the largest and
Congratulations.
first Black-owned bookstores. And they're going to host me at the Black Box Theater over in DC area, Anacostia. So I'm excited about that. It's around February time, February 15th, and my
Okay.
birthday is February 18th, and then
Okay.
Valentine's Day is February 14th. So that's my love to myself that I'm going to do. So I'm excited about that. I have to give you the information if you're interested or can come down, feel free. But I'm excited about it. What can you tell us about this journey of writing and where you're going in life now? And never forgetting to tell us how we can get this book. Talk to us a little bit.
Oh, I appreciate you. Wow, you're truly a breath of fresh air. I mean, and everything that you're sharing is resonating. And I feel like God is so faithful. I feel
Mm.
like He is very intentional. He makes no mistakes, and the people that we interact with, that is how He is speaking to us. And so I really appreciate it. Again,
Oh.
sharing your story and allowing me to be on this platform. I just I'm just me. I think I've known from a child that I was supposed to do something that was going to be a little outside of the box. I share about this often when I'm asked to talk to undergrads or speak maybe in the collegiate
Mm-hmm.
arena. I didn't know what I was going to major in, but what was put to me were the big five, like doctor, dentist, attorney, accountant, lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know but like traditional nurse, really traditional paths that are so essential to our society. And I'm so appreciative for those people that are doing that work and love that work. It just wasn't what God called me to do. For whatever reason, I've ran my mouth a lot and loved hearing stories. And now I've been someone that embraces sharing the things that are in my head. I have so much in my head, so much.
I
So
get it.
many stories in me.
You got me lost in my head about growth. Like I just
Yeah.
I got a whole concept in my head right now about being lost in growth. That is okay. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, and I hope you write them down. And as as you've been writing for a while, you have 11 books. You're a bestseller, you're a speaker. I mean, all these different. You have the training in different formats. You realize that we're all having the same experience. Like at our core, we just want to be loved and
Right.
seen and valued. And if at the end of the day, I'm hoping that my poetry allows other people to feel seen and valued. I've been sharing recently, that I was bullied for a certain period as a child. And that experience, I think a lot of ways that I show up, I'm always kind of like that 8, 9-year-old girl that really didn't have friends. It's a little weird, and knows what it feels like to be on the outside looking in and to be excluded and people making fun of you for being different, not wanting to be your friend and having to still show up. I had to still show up. I had to still do things. There's a part, I don't know if people have seen Wicked, and
I haven't yet, but everybody keeps talking about it. I really want to look. They said it's a really good movie with a lot of teaching points and life lessons in it.
yeah. So I mean, for those that usually people are fans of it, I wasn't like a historical fan. So me going to see the movie this weekend was just brand new because I'd never seen the stage play. I'd not read any of the books, and so I won't spoil it since you say that you're going to go see it. But it makes me think of how important it is to, while you're in this life, in this skin, your purpose is to tap into God and to tap into who you truly are. And when you tap into God and you tap into who you truly are, you then start walking in his perfect purpose for you, and things start making more sense. It wasn't making sense for me to sit in biochem because that's not what he had for me. It wasn't making sense for me to be in exercise physiology, not because I like donuts in McDonald's, more so, just because that wasn't what he had for me. And sometimes it wasn't working out for me in certain roles, but even being in those spaces, it allowed me. I started journaling. I started, having poems all throughout my in my laptop and in my cell phone. And I was doing spoken words and open mic, and people would pay me to come and read a poem that someone already, had written. So so God was showing me like, hey, little girl, like I got you here for a reason. You just have to trust me. You have to tap into me, and then I will tap into you, into your purpose. And so I started writing right after COVID. I self-published my first volume, 2021. In Search of Freedom was the first book. It was icy white, 48-hour books online. I pulled that Word document, had them edited. It was white and black, the ugliest little book you did see. And I dropped on my Instagram to my 900 friends, hey, y'all, I'm an author. What's up? Didn't have a website yet. So again, people we'll make all of these excuses of why we can't get it done. And I'm like, didn't have a website, didn't have a way to take payment, but Cash App and Zelle. Now, but you the government, so let me watch what I'm saying.
That's all right. No, I don't govern in that way, but no, it's all good.
You said Pentagon, and I said, who am I talking to? 2021 put out In Search of Freedom. It did well. Launched at my friend's barbershop. My other friend does decor. They set me up for launch day free, had people come sign my books. I said, okay, I feel close. Meeting people, having coffee with people, and they're pointing out poems, and they're like, oh, we're having the same experience. So I say, I think I can do better than that. I write Identity Crisis. Identity Crisis comes in 2022. I put myself on a book tour for friends that own businesses. I travel. I leverage social media to promote and market. The rest is history. That opened up the door for keynotes and presentations. And now I'm speaking not just about poetry, but now I'm training and doing presentations for my job. I'm talking about, hey, I'm a Black girl, and sometimes I get insecure doing equity work. Sometimes I get a little nervous being a millennial and having to be a supervisor and a manager, but still I stand here before you. So if I can stand here before you, you can stand before yourself and do anything. And so, after Identity Crisis comes out, it takes off. I'm now, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And this is work, but it's not hard to me. Does that make sense?
Right.
sometimes things are really hard because that's not what God got you doing in the first place. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. My daddy said,
Bingo.
little girl, what you supposed to be doing? You know, so
That
it's
needs to be the next book. Look, girl, what are you supposed to be doing?
okay. Look, let me put that in my notes.
Girl, look, you need to write that one because you keep quoting it.
I mean, but truly, as you know, as an only, like I told you, you think sometimes, and so there's identity crisis. Then I put out a chapbook remnants, and then which is a shorter collection of poems like this one, but it was a physical copy. And then this past year in June for my birthday, I dropped "No One Is Coming to Save You." It wasn't poetry; it was a memoir, and I'm talking through, hey, I was weird. Hey, I was bullied. Hey, I dressed like this. Here's how I started my career, And so it's just like people will wait and say, you need to be famous. You need to have 1 million followers on Instagram. You need to have a doctorate degree. You need to do this. No, you need to have effort and energy and be aligned in your passion.
You need to start.
You need to start. It's what you need to do, So if anything, I just tell people just start. And no matter what, just keep moving forward. I'm lost right now. I'm house hacking. I'm living with somebody, paying them rent. And I got a job that I genuinely enjoy, and I'm doing things that I love because I'm getting to share my poetry with the world. I know this is gonna happen for me. I truly believe in myself. I know I'm gonna get a big break, and I'm so appreciative of the people that have sowed seeds of affirmation into me before that period. So many of us stop right before the big break. So you can get any of my books on my website, It's Better Watch Your Tone. It's a play on my name, Tonee, but also I was running with the theme, how I speak to myself matters the most. It's so important for you to have that proper self-dialogue and self-talk in order to propel yourself and move yourself forward. And I'm far from perfect. I was having a conversation with someone and, they're like, well, it'd be harder. I could see how it'd be difficult in your dating life because people have to know that they can approach you, and the persona that you have, publicly. I could see a man being intimidated, and that person didn't say that, but I've gotten that before.
I've heard that several times. Like, you have to understand that there are a certain group of men that will never approach you, and the men who are interested probably won't approach you because they are afraid or intimidated, or they feel that they can't measure up, not understanding that it's not about comparison or competition, which is a thing. So yeah, but God will send whoever is destined for you and for me. I wanted to share something with you. You said earlier, your big break is coming. And what I heard in that moment is you are the big break. So you've already showed up. And I think what happens is we don't realize that because we are who needs to show up for someone else. And I in one of my facilitations, I've said this before, people say, yeah, I'm looking online to see if I can find things. And I tell them, you're not going to find it until you show up. You got to Google yourself. That's what you're looking for. And if it's not there, you can't find it. So you are the big break, sis. You are the big break.
Come on, we the big break. We big break.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, Tonee Shelton. We are so excited to have had her on tonight. You heard her. She has her, what was it? Get your tone right.
www.betterwatchyourtone. It's BETTAWATCHYATONE.com.
I love it. Y'all go get that book. Listen, thank you so much, Tonee. I'm looking forward to continuing to collaborate with you as we both learn how to be married to our purpose and use our words. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.